How is it going, everybody? This is Sean Barnes, and I want to welcome you to episode 7 of The Way of the Wolf. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Are you meant for something more than what you're currently doing? I would venture to say yes. For all of you listening, I know for me, this is something that I've had a little bit of a revelation over the past year. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to actually write down a rabbit hole on the front end of this. But when we look at 2020 and the pandemic and the challenges that it has presented for all of us, we've seen some people that have started just spiraling and circling the drain. And we've seen others that have come out and rose like a phoenix from this fire that we're all engulfed in. Those that have risen have found their purpose. They found their calling, and they're following their passion. When I look at entrepreneurs, I get so motivated and inspired by their energy. It seems like they have this youthful energy about them. And part of the reason, one of the main reasons of that, at least from what I've picked up on and people that I've met with and had conversations with, they're following their passion. They are obsessed with creating that new product, with creating an environment where their employees, their team, their company can be as successful as possible. Whether that's coaching, consulting, building car parts, or making exquisite pens, it doesn't matter. When people find their passion, it lights them up. I'm confident that those of you listening have seen examples of this. You've watched individuals that have spent a lot of their life in the 9-to-5, the grind, sitting in traffic. And then one day, that switch flips, where they realize they're meant for so much more. They become obsessed with whatever their passion is. And I would challenge that obsession is a natural human state. If you look at children, for example, they haven't had time to be conditioned about how they're supposed to act in society. They become hyper-focused on whatever toy or whatever object or food or whatever is right in front of them in that point in time. And that is their world. And they're full of energy. They can run around just like a ball of energy for an entire day. And then they're wiped at the end of the day. But they are obsessed with whatever's in front of them, whatever they're excited about in that moment in time. And as we grow up, as we go through school, through college, and through work, we're conditioned to fall into the norm of what you should be doing. For me, as I mentioned earlier, I've found my passion over the past year, and it's all kind of stemmed around helping others become the best version of themselves. Full transparency, I'm still figuring out how to do that as effectively as possible. I've created this podcast, I've created a YouTube channel, I've started doing coaching on the side, and whenever I think through my professional career and all of the things that I've learned, I've made so many mistakes. So many. But in my, I'm going to say 20-year professional career, I've learned a lot. All of those mistakes, all of those challenges, all of those things that seemed like the end of the world in that moment taught me lessons. And my hope in helping others become the best version of themselves is for them to hopefully learn those lessons, gain a little bit of insight from my mistakes that I've made over the years, and hopefully help guide them down a path so they can reach their goals, find their passion, and do what they're meant to do much sooner than I was able to. I don't want people to spend 20 years in corporate America trying to figure out why they're here. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes people they've got to spend that time. They have to learn those lessons the hard way. But when you find your passion, it's so easy to focus on that. Yes, you can get distracted, but it's easier to overcome those challenges when you know what your focus is, you know what your passion is, and you can recenter yourself where you need to be successful. You become obsessed. Day, night, it doesn't matter. I found myself over the past month waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and rolling over and making a note in my phone for something that I want to talk about, some idea or dream that I had that I want to be able to share with people with the hopes that it might be able to help someone out. You don't want to spend your life working for someone else or being miserable knowing that there's something out there more for you. When you find yourself in that situation, usually more times than not, you're exhausted. You see quotes and memes and things online about adulting is just being exhausted all the time and telling people you're exhausted all the time and listening to people talk about how exhausted they are all the time. Or others that are focused on how fantastic and amazing coffee is. Some people, they become addicted to that caffeine. It's because they're not doing what they love. They're not following their passion. When you find it, whatever it is, whether it's art, making beautiful pens. I'm using that as an example because there's an individual in one of the online communities that I'm on that actually recently made me one, sent me a picture of it, and I'm just floored at how insanely beautiful this pen is. And he's had issues. I mean, he shared some of his challenges with finding time to be able to do these things on the side while working his full-time career. But this is what he loves. And then for me, over the past few months, I've found myself working 12, 14 hours a day during the week and then 6 to 8 more hours on the weekends. But I've got more energy than I have in previous years just doing that 9 to 5 and working for someone else. I mean, there are things that I enjoyed, but in finding my passion, it has lit a fire inside of me. So when you find it, don't make excuses. There are no excuses. Get up, get out of bed. If you've got to get out of bed early, if you've got to stay up late, stop watching TV, stop playing video games. Follow your passion. I promise you, you will come out better. You will feel happier and more fulfilled in your life. Life is not just about solving one miserable problem after another. It's about finding your purpose. And beyond that, fulfilling your purpose. Focus on leaving your dent in the universe. So my question to all of you, what is your purpose? And what are you going to do about it? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please reach out to me, Sean at The Way of the Wolf. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, all of that fantastic stuff. Feedback that I get from all of you is what lights the fire in me. It lets me know that the things I'm doing are meaningful and impactful and gets me excited. Thank you all so much for your time, and I will talk to you soon.